Hello everyone, welcome to another NR replay commentary video. So today we're going to be covering the grand final of the NRJP August monthly tournament. So in order to play in this tournament, you have to win a daily tournament. So it is an invitational. I also played in this tournament. Unfortunately, I lost in the quarterfinals, so I didn't make it far. And I lost to the player up top. So we're going to talk about the deck. But basically the way this tournament is structured is it is a best of 3 single elimination tournament. So if you lose one match, you're out. I won my first match 2-0, but the second match, like, both of my hands were completely terrible and almost unplayable. So we bombed out of the tournament. However, we are here now with the finals. The player on the bottom, now I can't read Japanese, but their translated name is Lotus Root. They are playing Fluffal Crystron, so they've opened Fluffal Wings, Fluffal Bear, Crystron Smiger, Exaraptor, and Fluffal Dog. The player up top, their name translates to Lorelei, and they're playing Ghoti, so they've opened Lifeless Three Fish, Dream Shark, Mystical Space Typhoon, Paleozoic Dinomicious, Ghoti Fury, both players playing a 40-card deck. The Lorelei has won the coin toss and has chosen to go first. So let's see. They're going to start with the Leafish. And this is why Ghoti is now one of the best decks, because we recently unhit Nimble Angler from banned to limited. And this is what Nimble Angler allows the deck to do. So they can normal summon the Leafish, send the Nimble Angler, and then Nimble Angler triggers to summon 2 copies of Nimble Sunfish. So they do that. They also immediately link off 2 copies into a Haggard Lizardos to get another draw, set 3 and pass. Lotus Root has drawn Dinomicious for turn. They're gonna start off by activating the Exaraptor, discarding the Smiger. Now activate the Smiger in the graveyard, grabbing a cluster. Fluffal Bear now grabs the Vendor, and I'm guessing they're gonna discard this Wings. And find a Howl as well, so more disruption. Wings now activates, banishing the Fluffal Bear, drawing into another Dinomicious. Now add the... Okay, so they normal summon the Fluffal Dolphin. The Fluffal Dolphin has an effect where you can reset a Toy Vendor and then send another Fluffal monster. The Lotus Root would have been able to send another Fluffal Wings for next turn, but also they would have been able to use this Toy Vendor again to discard another card and then maybe draw into more Crystron cards. So that is the idea of this deck. They basically try to loop Toy Vendor as many times as possible to essentially deep draw into their deck. So Lorelei recognizing that and immediately hitting it with the Ghoti Fury. So both monsters do come back. They're gonna crash the Nimble Sunfish, which dumps a fish monster, summons another Nimble Sunfish. They now activate the Leafish to put back 3 monsters, draw a card, draw the Sykes, now summon the Dream Shark, normal the Shift, go for the Link 2 of the Abyss Keeper. Abyss Keeper on summons a fish from hand, they summon the Sykes. Sykes searches and banishes a fish monster. Add the Snopios. The Snopios now adds itself back to the hand. Lotus Root, though, recognizing that the opponent was probably going to use the second effect of Abyss Keeper, which is to banish 1 fish on their field and 1 card on the opponent's side. So just hitting it with the Dinomicious. They could have also hit it with a cluster, but I'm guessing they want to hit the Ghoti Fury or something else with the cluster. Actually choosing not to use cluster at all. So cluster basically shuffles back one of your either 1 Crystron card from your graveyard or banished. So they only have 1 Crystron in rotation right now, so they only have 1 disruption, and I'm guessing they probably want to save it for when the opponent uses something like a Ghoti Fury. Also, they don't know that this set card is a Dinomicious, so the Dinomicious could be used in response to the cluster to banish it, and so they don't get the pop. Now though, because they couldn't deal with the Dolphin, now they reset the Toy Vendor, send another Wings, normal summon the Dog, add a Bear, which grabs yet another Toy Vendor. Now they use the Wings in the graveyard again, so draw 2 more cards, and this is why this deck is so powerful. This is a misplay by Lotus Root though. They should have activated the other toy vendor, because now Lorelei can prevent them from drawing 2 cards, because you do need to have a toy vendor face up on the field to draw an additional card with Fluffal Wings. So this Fluffal Wings will only draw 1 card, whereas before they could have drawn another card and added another card off of the toy vendor. Now Link 2 for Haggard Lizardos. It's going to immediately get hit with the Fish Depth Charge. Battle Phase beat over the Nimble Sunfish, which does float into another Nimble Sunfish, which floats yet again into another Sunfish. So this is why, like, the Nimble Sunfish is one of the best recruiters in the game, because not only does it summon another copy of itself, but it also Foolish Burials a fish monster in the process. So now they have like the Zap and the Shift both in rotation, so they can really pop off next turn. Alright, draw another Ghoti Fury, so not good. Do find the Whitefish Salvage. They're gonna use it to add back a Snapios, but it gets hit with the Dinomicious. They will chain the Paleo in the graveyard. That is unfortunate though, because if they were able to add back the Snapios could start banishing these Ghoti monsters like Zep and Shift, which summon themselves back to the field on the opponent's turn. So that is basically sort of the Ghoti game plan, is to start banishing themselves and then reviving themselves. So it's a really strong play. Now they don't have access to Snapios anymore. So we'll once again activate the Leafish, shuffle back 3 monsters. Draws into... Hold on, what is that card? Draws into Crevice into the different dimension. So basically banishes 2 monsters from the opponent's graveyard or even your own graveyard. So I'm guessing this is... They can either call water and banish 2 of their Ghotis, or they can just use it to disrupt the opponent. Interesting. Not a bad tech card in this meta at all, and it benefits them as well. Lotus Root though will steal the Sykes here. They will boost the Abyss Keeper with the Shift and beat over the Dolphin. Try to cluster pop the Beauty, but do have the MST for that. Sykes goes back to the opponent's field. Draw a Fluffal Dog per turn. So do they have a 3rd copy of Fluffal Wings? They do. They play 3 Fluffal Wings. Insane. So now they get to activate Fluffal Wings yet again. They also find a Red Lotus, which is interesting. Can be revived immediately as well. Find a Smyger off the top. So they were struggling with Crystron names in rotation. Now they have it. And they also draw a Zep Wing as well, which is one of the best, like, normal summons. But they don't have a normal summon right now though. So we'll use the Fluffal Bear to set another vendor. Oh, the opponent now recognizes. Hold on. Well, why didn't they use it to disrupt the wings though, is my question. I don't know. They probably don't want the opponent to summon their Red Lotus. So that is why they're banishing the Tune Warrior now. But honestly, they should have used it to banish the wings. So that misplay might cost them the game. Lotus does get to summon back his Dinomicious. Now activates Toy Vendor again. Discards a Smyger. Finds a dog. Can special summon another card from the hand. Oh, that is so nice. Special summoning the Zapwing to find the Exaraptor. Now Smyger fetches an Impact. So that's another Crystron card. So 2 activations potentially. They also play a 2nd copy of Tune Warrior. So just to give you an idea, right? They play 3 Fluffal Wings and they play two copies of Tune Warrior. That's like 5 bricks at least. So really banking on drawing into these Fluffal cards and, you know, using the engine to draw a lot of cards. Otherwise, they are also playing with fire, playing this many bricks in their deck. Alright, so now the Grand Pulse is threatening the back row, so they will immediately just use Ghoti Fury. Honestly though, wait a minute. Honestly, I wouldn't have used Ghoti Fury there. because both cards are Ghoti Fury, and even if he destroys one with the Super Quan, there is like you still have another copy, and it's only once per turn, so it's not like, you know, you have to activate it, and you don't know the opponent has a Dynamicious. So now they just get rid of the second Ghoti Fury, and you're pretty much out of resources. So flip up the cluster as well, destroy the site, go battle, hit over the Abyss Keeper, over the ship. Is this enough for game though? It's not. Okay. So the Ghoti player will get another turn here. Link into Pit Knight early, just setting up for next turn, potential disruption. Draw a Torrential off the top, but hold on, why not? Oh, okay, they realize the opponent will just go to battle phase. Also, they have a Grand Pulse up. Yeah. The Grand Pulse will just destroy the Torrential, and that's it. So, Lotus Root has won game 1. This is a best of 3, by the way, so there is still more games to go. Let's jump into game 2 and see how that went. Alright, so we're here with game 2 now. Lotus Root has opened Fluffal Weeks, Crystron Quan, Fluffal Dog, Dynamicious, and Impact. So 3 bricks in the opening hand, which is not good at all. The opponent has opened Ghoti Fury, double Lifeless Leafish, double Mermaid Shark. So they've also bricked. You never want to see multiple copies of the same card, because, you know, it's once per turn, and these are 4 normal summons. So they're also not happy with their hand. However, they did choose to go first. So 40 versus 40 once again. They choose to normal summon the Mermaid Shark though. Interesting. Oh, okay, I get it. Yeah. They're gonna go for the Abyss Keeper, and then use the Abyss Keeper's effect to summon the Lifeless Leafish. Interesting, yeah. So now they get like the maximum value off of it. A lot of bodies. They're gonna go for the Lizardos to get another draw. Wait a minute, did they... Oh, that's so sad. They drew a 3rd copy of Mermaid Shark. So, not out of it yet though. They still have a Ghoti Fury. Lotus drew a Howl for turn. But yeah, any 2 Fluffals, so any combination of Fluffal Dog, Wings, or Bear. So either Dog plus Wings, Wings plus Bear, or Bear plus Dog. Like all of these, any 2 of these get you to Fluffal combo. So they're gonna use the Dog to add the Bear gets the Vendor will discard the Wings. Let's see what they draw though. Oh, they find the Red Lotus as well. Oh, so sad. So now they'll activate the Wings. Draw 2, they find a normal monster as well, but not really something they can use immediately. They will Ghoti Fury now, protect the board. So Lotus Root is forced to just set 3 and pass, cannot commit any further. Ghoti player will crash the Sunfish, dump a card. Now activate Abyss Keeper, try to bait out a back row. It is another Dynamicious which hits the Ghoti Fury. And they drew a Zap for turn, so this is not good at all. They want to be drawing back row. Now using the Lifeless Leafish, draw an... Oh, this is so sad. They keep drawing monsters, and they drew their 1 copy of Nimble Angler as well. So now Sykes activates. Probably gonna add a Snapios. Yep, do they have 2 fish monsters in the graveyard? They do, so they can immediately summon the Snapios. Normal summon the Lifeless Leafish. So if they didn't draw this Nimble Angler here, they could have immediately normal summoned the Leafish and sent this Angler to get 2 bodies on the field, and then that would have put them really far ahead. But now they are forced to send the ship instead, and the Nimble Angler is just stuck in their hand. Like, they're gonna have to, like, you know, either spend a normal summon on it or use like a Abyss Keeper to get it out the hand. So this also is like, this also highlights the nerf for fish when it comes to losing a card like Dark Factory. So fish basically used Dark Factory to get rid of all of the bricks in their hand. That was like the main reason why Dark Factory was such a integral part of the fish deck. But unfortunately, Dark Factory is banned. We did give them back the 1 copy of Angler as compensation, but you know, when you draw it in the hand, it's just not enough. They will add the Smiger with the Thiswern. Now, once again, normal summon the Dolphin, set the Vendor, send Wings. Now Exaraptor dumps a normal monster to the graveyard. They do have the Red Lotus. Interesting that they choose to discard the Smiger instead of the normal monster, because they do have a Crystron name in rotation in the Thiswern, right? Maybe I guess they want to really want to grab the cluster off the Smiger, I guess. Yeah. So now Thiswern is resummoned with the impact. Now they summon the Red Lotus. Go for armor XYZ torpedo. Gonna go to battle phase first. This will clear the board. And the fish player is struggling. They can't use Snopios to banish the Sykes. They do have the combo. Alright, they will now go for the Fluffal Wings. Draw 2 cards. Add another with the Vendor. Find a Fluffal Bear, which is going to set another Vendor. Now drawing another card. Find another Primite Howl. Now, like, this is insane. Now draw another card. Find a dog so they can summon the Quan. Now draw another card with the Lizardos. They drew like 6 cards right there. Insane. The opponent will use the Snopios though, banishing the Sykes, and when the Sykes is banished, it can special summon itself. Searches for another Leaf Fish, but unfortunate for them, the Nimble Angler is in the hand. They will hit the Snopios with the Red Lotus. Snopios gets to add itself back to the hand though. Draw Ghoti Fury for turn, but the opponent already has clusters with more than enough targets in the graveyard, so they'll go for a Charge Warrior now. Draw into a Fish Depth Charge. That's not bad. That disrupts and that outs the cluster. Go for a Klondex now, and oh, this is so good. They get to hit 2 cards because they control a Crystron Synchro monster. Now they'll go for the Snopios, banishing the Sykes, which triggers the Sykes. Searching another monster. They could have waited for the opponent's turn as well, but I'm guessing they just want to use both effects now so that they can possibly use these effects later again in the opponent's turn. So now this one activates, adds another Smiger. They have 2 copies of Vendor to draw even further. Another Smiger now to add the cluster. So Vendor number 1 finds another normal monster, so they will immediately pop the Red Lotus. It's met with the Ghoti Fury, which is met with the cluster, hitting 2 cards. But they have the Fish Depth Charge to deal with the cluster, so we'll keep their Ghoti Fury for now, not destroyed. Okay. Now Snopios triggers to add itself back to the hand. They will normal summon the Zeppwing and get the bonus effect? Yes, they do. Revive a body, add another Exaraptor. Go for a rank 3 for Grampulse to deal with the back row. This is not looking good for the Ghoti player. They did draw into a Dinomicious. Dolphin sets the 3rd Toy Vendor. Once again resolving wings. How many wings? They've resolved 3 wings this game. Insane. Like they're down to 7 cards in deck by turn 6. Now Exaraptor adds another normal monster. Special summons itself. Goes for the Armor Torpedo. And they're still digging. Like they're still using Toy Vendor. Red Lotus destroys the opponent's card. They will use the Snopios now to try and live somehow. But that is way too much. They will concede. Oh, they actually want you to time limit, but they were gonna lose anyways. Like, this is so much advantage here, and they even have the cluster again in hand to keep destroying cards and destroying 2 cards at that. So I don't think the opponent had any way to come back. So that does it. Lotus Root is the winner of the monthly with Fluffal, Crystron. We're gonna look at the deck list now. Alright, so we are here with Lotus Root's deck. So pretty standard. They're playing the Fluffal stuff, everything at 3 copies besides the 2 copies of Fluffal Dolphin. It is a brick if you don't find the toy vendor alongside it. They're also playing the Materiactor engine with 3 Exoraptor and 3 Zapwing and the 2 normal monsters to go alongside that. They are playing 2 copies of Red Lotus as well to pair with the 2 normal monsters. And then for their disruption, they have the 3 Dinomicious and 3 Howl. They're also playing 2 copies of Cluster. I personally would like to see them play 3 copies of Cluster. Mostly because, you know, whenever you're resolving your toy vendors, there's a good chance you just mill one of these clusters, or both clusters even. And this deck doesn't have any way of recurring these clusters, so they didn't get punished for that, so, you know, but that is something that can happen. For the extra deck, it is pretty standard. They're playing both of the Crystron Synchros to get the bonus effect of the cluster, playing the Stardust Charge Warrior, and they're also playing the Glaciosaurus in case that comes up. They can use one of the Crystron Synchros to go into that. They're playing a suite of rank 3s, double Grand Pulse, double XYZ armor, and then a bunch of Link monsters, especially the 2 Haggard Lizardoses came up a lot to get just that additional bit of draw power to potentially find another copy of, let's say, a Toy Bender or a Fluffal Bear. So, really solid deck. And I do think this is one of the best decks in this format right now. So we're probably going to see a lot more of decks like these. But anyways, let's look at the other deck now. Alright, so we're here with Lorelei's deck, which is Ghoti Fish. And they're playing pretty much the standard Ghoti ratios. So triple Mermaid and triple Lifeless Leaf Fish as the normal summons. They're also playing the Nimble Angler package, freshly unhit, with the 3 Nimble Sunfish, which are also really good recruiters. They're also playing the 1 copies of Zep, Shift, and Enoch. You only need to, and the Snopios as well, you only need to play 1 copies of all of these because you can fetch them really easily with your Sykes, with your Leaf Fish. So, and even fetch them with your Nimble Sunfish. So you don't need to play more than 1 copy of these. There can be an argument for playing 2 Snopios, but some people consider it a bit too bricky. So that's like up to personal choice. The 2 Whitefish Salvage, the 3 MST. The trap lineup is pretty standard except for the 3 tech card, 3 copies of the tech card. I can't remember its name though. Some dark room or some sort of card like that. But anyways, you call a monster attribute and banish 2 cards out of the opponent's graveyard, or your own graveyard even, of that attribute. So it did come up, and I imagine they had good success with it. So I didn't see it when they played against me, but it would have done well against like a mill deck as well. And they were unlucky that they couldn't use it against like a Fluffal Wings. I mean, in my opinion, it was more like a misplay, but it is a good tech card, and maybe we'll see more of it in the future. The extra deck is pretty standard. They play all the generic fish stuff. You play the 3 copies of the Abyss Keeper, very important card to this archetype. Pretty much the reason why this archetype even exists is because of Abyss Keeper. Just such a good card. Some special summons out your fish monsters from the hand for free, so you don't have to tribute summon anything. Also playing the Synchros. They are playing the Meteor Burst, which they can summon with a Dream Shark and a Shift. I don't know how relevant that is though, but they're also playing the other fish Synchros, which you can summon on the opponent's turn with Shift, so which is pretty standard. Anyways, thank you so much for watching though. I will be back with more NR replays. Until then, adios.